with Randy Orton revealing his issues working with Bray Wyatt and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for April 1st. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. During a recent WWE talent meeting, John Laurinaitis had a special guest, which turned out to be Triple H, as Fightful reported. We're told that Laurinaitis kicked off the meeting by saying he had a guest for the talent in attendance. It was Triple H, who hasn't been seen by most talent since August. We're told it was an emotional scene, with many elated that he was there. He discussed his health challenges and introduced WWE President Nick Khan, who he called a friend of over 10 years. While Triple H would mention that there were plans for him to return to WrestleMania 38, his health problems have forced him to retire from in-ring competition. With the WWE Champion Brock Lesnar set to face the Universal Champion Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, it would be noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Lesnar is already booked for appearances following Mania. Lesnar is booked for 2 of the next 3 pay-per-view shows: WrestleMania Backlash on May 8th in Providence, Rhode Island, and Money in the Bank at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on July 2nd. While WWE Chairman Vince McMahon is seen as a controversial figure in the world of wrestling, Pat McAfee noted on his show that McMahon does not get enough credit for his good ideas. Vince gets all the heat for all the bad ideas that happen. When you're going live every single week, 2 times a week on TV, both the first longest and the second longest episodic television series of all time, Raw and SmackDown, those are the 2. You're gonna get some bad ideas in there. Every show you watch, there's some bad episodes. Every once in a while, that's gonna happen. He never gets credit for the good stuff though. Whenever you think like Stone Cold, The Rock, Brock Lesnar, you go through the list of just success. I know there's a lot more. Randy Orton is on that list. By the way, you should be pumped. You've done the business well, and I think Vince should also probably take a victory lap every once in a while and be like, I saw something in this guy and stuck by this guy. A lot of people didn't, and now he is one of the GOATs at what he does. Man, it's awesome. Of course, at WrestleMania 38, Pat McAfee will be taking on Vince McMahon's protege, Austin Theory. Getting ready for his in-ring segment at WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Owens spoke to MacMania about what he would like to do following his in-ring career. I signed a new contract, so I'll be here for a little while doing this. Once that contract is done, I really don't see myself not being in the ring for many more years, but I really enjoy the other side of it where I enjoy watching other people do well. When I'm in the locker room and other people come up to me for advice, I enjoy giving it to them, and I enjoy seeing them put it in practice, and if it works for them, that's a great feeling. Really taking to seeing other people do well. I get as much satisfaction out of that, if not more, honestly, than when I've accomplished so much out of my career, and this weekend is going to be insane as well. Not that I feel like I haven't done it all. There's still things I would love to accomplish, but I feel like I've had an amazing career, so when I see other people do well, that fulfills me in a different way. Ultimately, once I'm not in the ring actively anymore, I really think I'll hopefully have a role backstage somehow, or even maybe do commentary. Those are all things I really enjoy. I don't see myself going anywhere. Hopefully I can help people that are here now and people that are here in the future, like others started helping me. Speaking of retirement, Stephanie McMahon recently spoke to D Magazine and was asked about her father stepping away from his duties as WWE chairman, with her responding, "I think you hit the nail on the head. He has said, I think publicly, that he will die in the chair. We'll see. Who knows? Life is long and unpredictable, but somehow I don't see him retiring anytime soon." In recent times, WrestleMania has become a 2-night spectacle. As Stephanie explained the benefits that come from this, it allows us to tell more stories and feature more talent. In the non-pandemic era, we had fans who traveled from over 60 countries, all 50 states, all coming to share this passion. To give them 2 nights of WrestleMania versus 1, we hope to over-deliver on their expectations and blow them away with our storytelling and athleticism in the ring. Staying on the subject of the McMahons, Shane McMahon had returned during the Royal Rumble and had a role in creative for that bout. With many of his ideas for the match getting shot down, Shane would reportedly be sent home by his father. It was recently noted that Shane will be present at the Hall of Fame ceremony, and Ringside News has now noted that Shane McMahon is in Dallas ahead of WrestleMania. We can confirm this, but we can also confirm that there are no plans for him for the big show. We were told that unless something changes, which is unlikely, there are no plans to use Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. After returning and winning the Women's Royal Rumble, Ronda Rousey is ready to go one-on-one for the SmackDown Women's title against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Talking about her debut match in WWE, Kurt Angle revealed on his podcast that Rousey had to memorize every move. We wanted Ronda to memorize every single move, because she didn't learn the full ropes of pro wrestling and the whole psychology thing. She was just learning these moves, putting them together, and making sure she got everything fluid throughout the whole match and didn't have any mess-ups. So she had to memorize everything. It was a difficult thing to do, but the whole match was built around Ronda Rousey. It was to make her look good. It was to shine her. The whole thing was meant for Ronda. We were all working for Ronda. Following his shocking release from WWE in July, we haven't seen Bray Wyatt re-emerge in the wrestling world. For those hoping to see his return to action, he took to Instagram with some great news, writing, "I will always love wrestling. I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life without stepping in the ring again and hearing that roar again. I think about it often. Everything has to be in place though. Like I said, timing is everything. I have never been healthier, both physically and mentally. I have been able to challenge myself with projects that would have never been possible before. This is a happy time for me, but I have to be patient. Timing is everything." Wyatt will be in Dallas during Mania weekend as he is set to headline WrestleCon's US vs. the World event on April 2nd. Bray would also touch on his Hell in a Cell match that ended in a referee stoppage against Seth Rollins, writing, "I love Seth. I love him so goddamn much. Me and him will make up for that one day, and when we do, everyone will understand that wild horses are meant to run free." WWE Hall of Famer Lita was able to make a comeback to pro wrestling, even competing in the Women's Royal Rumble match and against Becky Lynch at Elimination Chamber. Speaking about this with Chris Van Vliet, Lita claimed she enjoyed her last run so much since there were no stakes. "I was talking with Vince about this whole last run and I was like, it just felt really fun to go out there and do it because it didn't feel like there were any stakes. It's like I've already got the ring, this is just, a cherry on top. And I felt that I could really be in the moment there and really enjoy it, which was really nice because I don't feel like I soaked that in a lot because things were so busy or I was distracted. And so that was really nice with this match that I could really be in the moment. And I don't mean the match. From the moment I was asked to be in it to the moment I got back on the plane to fly home. Just really could be thankful for it and take it in going, wow, this is such a crazy experience. This is like, I'm so fortunate to be here and it just felt really nice." For his interview on the Pat McAfee show, Randy Orton touched on the art of pro wrestling, noting that those in NXT are not properly protecting their opponents in the ring. There's an art to what we do, and a lot of guys have lost that art. Now instead of selling a punch because you need to sell a punch, now I'm protecting myself because I don't want to get my jaw broken. That's unfortunate, but the art of pro wrestling, like when Vince was on, he talked about your number one priority above all being protecting your opponent. That's not taught necessarily in NXT, and I know that because I've been in the ring with guys that came from NXT and they don't know what they're doing. It's unfortunate, but I think that is just kind of how things are changing. During that same interview, Randy Orton would reveal that when working with Bray Wyatt, he had issues. "Edge made me realize, I can go 45 minutes with a guy that knows what he's doing. Where are these other guys that know what they're doing? They started to come up. Bray Wyatt was there, I worked with him, it was a little odd. There were some issues where I think he wasn't able to do some stuff in the ring for a while. That got weird, but he's a hell of a talent. Riddle, for the last year, he's only been wrestling for 6 years, but he gets it. He knows how to sell and he captivates those people. He captivates me." The Viper would note that Edge is like a big brother to to him, saying, having Edge come back and having a person that mentored me and I looked up to, that bigger brother figure that I haven't had for a decade. Now all of a sudden I have this guy. Oh wow, can you help me with this? Instead of everyone coming to me, or instead make me feel like I don't have someone to talk to, now I've got Edge. Orton would also touch on previous rumors of him leaving WWE for AEW. Even a couple of years ago, there possibly could have been some chatter and some talk, but I really was not the one talking about going anywhere else. That was just the internet and everybody, and I was like, this is interesting. I never said that. My contract's up in a couple of years and I'll sign another one. I love this place. I love doing things like this. WrestleMania, this is my 18th WrestleMania in a couple of days. Here's to 10 more WrestleManias, hopefully. When it comes to rumors of Triple H being the one to succeed Vince McMahon in running WWE, the Wrestling Observer newsletter would note that his chances of being in this position have been reduced. As far as the successor to Vince McMahon, the reality is that WWE still hasn't really groomed anyone else. The Levesque's NXT failed in its major directive, both not killing off AEW at the start, but also in drawing a bigger and younger audience. With him recently returning to action to team up with Joey Janela against Matt Cardona and Brian Myers at GCW Welcome to Heartbreak, X-Pac would have Janela turn on him after that bout, leading to a match between the two, which X-Pac would lose. He would go on Twitter to let fans know that he is dealing with an injury. I tried to keep this on the down low, but I tore my bicep in the tag match a month ago. I'm going to have surgery soon, and then have a few more matches. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.